Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I think it is time for some relaxation. For tonight's video, it's going to be a kind of just like mix of rambling. Um, I have some ideas of things that I want to talk about. Mainly the fact that I haven't uploaded in probably 3 months. I definitely want to touch on that and why that is. But beyond that, there's some things that have changed in my life that I figured I could talk about. And then I also, that's my ID. Don't want to show that. Hold on. Let me take that out of my phone. Don't really want to show that. Definitely going to want to remember to black that out in editing. But yeah, I have also scoured the internet. And by scoured the internet, I mean I spent literally 30 seconds Googling a list of Q&A questions. So I figured for any dead space there might be while my brain runs out of like train of thought, I can just reference this and pull some random questions to answer. But to start off with, why haven't I uploaded in 3 months? And a big part of that is that I have moved. I was living in an apartment. I need something to do with my hands. Let me find something that I can fidget with. There we go. That'll help me stay focused. But yeah, I was living in an apartment in the last videos that I uploaded. And since then, I've actually moved back home with my family for financial reasons. As a lot of people can probably relate to, times are rough. And it just made sense for me to come back home. But coming back home brought some challenges along with it that I'm sure people can also relate to. I keep dropping my fidget. I'm literally just fidgeting with the tag that came off of this hat. But yeah, it brought some challenges. I'm sure some of you can also relate to this. My family is not necessarily quiet, and we have very thin walls. So finding the time to record when it's quiet and there's not any interruptions can be difficult. I'm also now back with my cat, who is a senior cat that demands a lot of attention, and I'm happy to give it to her. But she also meows a lot, like an incredible amount. And so it's just made it a little difficult to find distraction-free moments to record. also struggle with embarrassment while recording. What I mean by that is I don't like when other people can hear me just talking to myself in my room, because at the end of the day that's really what I'm doing, is just talking to myself, and so I get a little embarrassed when I think they're able to overhear me do that. So I kind of just have to wait until the middle of the night when they're asleep. Like now. But that's really the main reason why I haven't recorded anything. I have really been wanting to, though. I do still have a lot of ideas, and like inspiration to want to record. And that itch has just been in the back of my mind, which is why I'm kind of pushing myself to do it tonight. Because I've just really been craving recording a video, if that makes sense. It might sound kind of weird. Honestly, it does, but that's the best way I have of describing it. I also kind of want this video to be like kind of a get to know me video, because it's only the third video that's going to be uploaded on the channel, and so I want everybody to kind of be able to be introduced to who I am, because my first two videos didn't really do that. Not that I'm not happy with how those videos came out, but they didn't really reveal any of who I am. I do plan on making more videos like those. This isn't saying that I don't like that type of video. Like the book reading and the gaming are two things that I definitely want to continue doing. When it comes to the book reading, it's a little more difficult just because I'm limited by what's in the public domain, which are all like basically 100-year-old books. So finding ones that can hold my attention long enough for me to get through reading them, let alone that make for good books for an ASMR video, is difficult. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up some of these questions. This is a list by Favory, and it's literally just 200 Q&A questions for your YouTube channel in 2024. So we're only a year behind. Let's see. So question 1. What inspired you to start your YouTube channel? Alright. So this is actually a great first question. I actually started this channel 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And it originally was a gaming channel. And this was when I was like 12 or 13 max. So very cringy. Like I'm talking Minecraft, things like that. And I actually still have all of those videos privated. They're not deleted. They're still there. Maybe one day, if I ever make like a Patreon or something, I might have that as like a reward for a certain tier. You get access to my cringy 12-year-old videos. But what actually inspired me to come back to the channel for ASMR, that I don't have the best answer for. I kind of just really enjoy doing it. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's fun. It's a creative outlet, which I don't have a lot of. Like, I'm not, like, artistic. Like, I don't paint or write books or do anything like that. This is really the only, like, creative thing that I have is recording ASMR. Excuse me. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to make this video without any like cuts. I think I want to make it a one take video. For more of an authentic like ramble. I've actually spent the last 2 nights trying to record this. Like I said, I do sometimes struggle with creativity. And hold on. I knew that I wanted to make a ramble video. I knew that I just wanted to sit down and talk. But I find it challenging sometimes to just bring out conversation from nothing. I've always been introverted and kind of socially awkward in that way. I'm the type of person that will listen before ever speaking. I very rarely initiate conversation. I don't do good with small talk. I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way. If we're talking about something I'm interested in, then yeah, I can talk for hours easily. But coming up with new conversation starters or things to talk about out of thin air is not my strong suit. That's for sure. And that's a big reason why I'm doing the questions thing. Because almost every time I've tried to record one of these videos, I get distracted in my own thoughts, or my brain just goes completely blank to the point where I'm just staring dead at the camera for like a solid 30 seconds. And that does not make for a good video. So that's why I have this as a backup. So that if that happens, I can look at that and spur a new train of thought on. But actually continuing on with the history of this channel, to kind of expand on that. So, for anybody clicking on this video that hasn't seen me before, you might find it odd that for 2 videos that each have less than 200 views, you might find it weird that I have over 200 subscribers. And that's because this isn't a new channel. It's rebranded, and it's like a new edition of the channel, but it's not new. It's been here since almost, or actually, a decade ago. And I did find a little bit of success for a little tiny amount of time. Back in like 2016, I got onto the IO game wave. If anybody remembers that, when that was really big, everybody was playing like IO games. And I had discovered an IO game that was pretty new, like freshly made, freshly released, and I made a handful of videos on that game, and they actually kind of popped off for me relative to, what I was used to, the normal like 5 to 10 views. I actually got a couple hundred views. And getting a couple hundred views back then was huge. Very, very huge for me. And so I actually kind of just like went heavy into that niche. And I continued playing that game and making videos on it. And I ended up doing some like time lapse of getting to a certain goal or like a certain size. And I remember that video, it was like the highest level that had been reached so far in the game or something like that. It was like a world record. Or at least that's what I put in the title. And that video actually got like thousands of views. Like my most viewed video. Still. And yeah, I actually found a small little bit of success. But then school came back. I lost interest, my young undiagnosed ADHD mind quickly lost interest and just abandoned the channel. It happens. But yeah, it's always fun to think back to that, to think what could have been. Who knows, maybe I'd be a popular, like famous gaming YouTuber. Yeah, no, doubtful. But yeah, that just kind of explains a little bit of the history of this channel. Which I don't know if anybody even like questioned it or ever would have questioned it, but I find it interesting to know those little, like, tidbits of history, things that you don't really see. Um, that's the type of stuff that I find interesting, and I want to share what I find interesting. But let's do another question. Let's see. Who are some of your favorite YouTubers or creators who inspire you? Alright, so I'm going to narrow this down to ASMR creators. And number one on my list of ASMR greatest of all time, for me personally, and the ones that have heavily inspired me to want to create my own ASMR. Number one, excuse me, sorry. Like I said, I think I'm still gonna make this a no-cut video, so sorry about that. But yeah, number one would be Marno ASMR. Marno ASMR is just my perfect style of ASMR. I have nothing but praise for Marno. And it's unfortunate that he doesn't upload as much anymore. And he has his reasons for doing so, and they're valid, very valid reasons. But I do wish he uploaded more. Like, I wish he deserves so much more recognition, I feel like. I feel like he is not talked about enough when people talk about the greatest of all time or their favorites. The second for me, or well, actually, after Marno, I don't really have any particular, like, ranking. He's just my all-time favorite. And he's definitely, like, my comfort ASM artist. Even if I don't, even if I'm not going for tingles or relaxation, he's just, like, my comfort ASM artist. But I also really like Bill Max Vox Packs. He's an older gentleman who does whispering and soft-spoken, but it's very, like, old school ASMR style. Very lo-fi, like, feeling, even though he sometimes uses some higher quality microphones. It's very lo-fi feeling and looking, and just very old school ASMR. And if anything, he's probably the one that I most like am inspired by recently. Just that old school style of ASMR draws me in, and I want to emulate that in my own style. I think that's a big, like, kind of, I don't know, cultural debate in the ASMR community nowadays. I mean, if you ever look on the ASMR Reddit, it's full of threads just debating what's the better kind of ASMR. And it's honestly insane how many people post the same question on there, just Does anybody else feel this way, or does anybody else feel this way? Whatever. Not gonna get into it. Reddit is Reddit. But I do feel like I wanna have that kind of vibe for my channel. I don't want like super high production. Yeah, it's great and it's cool, but that's not me. I'm not making a movie. I'm just making an ASMR video for people to relax to. I don't feel like I want to go super high production. I really appreciate the ones that keep it simple, and so I want to just keep it simple. But moving on from Bill, somebody that I very recently, I'm talking like days ago, discovered, is Patrick, or I can't remember if it's like Patrick or Patrick's ASMR. But I saw him recommended on the Reddit page, and he's another one that does some amazing, like lo-fi, old school style ramble videos. And at least in his ramble videos, I haven't watched any of his like trigger videos or any of his other kind of videos. It's really just been his ramble videos that I've watched. But he has this like amazing balance between soft spoken and whispering that I really enjoy. And I feel like he still uploads pretty actively, and I feel like he's going to be one of those creators that is here to stay for a while. I don't know how long he's been doing it. I feel like it's at most like a couple of years. I know by looking at the comments on his video that he originally blew up on TikTok, which also definitely makes me think he hasn't been doing it for too long. But I definitely feel like he's going to see a lot of his success with that style. And just, he seems to have a very unique personality, and he's a calming personality. Highly recommend. Other than them, I used to watch a ton of Maddie Tingle's ASMR. Back in like his early days of like first kind of climbing in sub count, before admittedly his content became a little oversaturated with not too much variety, which isn't a bad thing. I no longer found that style of video super appealing, but I do still have appreciation for his content. And I think that's important to note. Just because you don't personally consume somebody's content does not mean that you don't appreciate it for what it is, or you think it's bad. Everybody has preferences, and their preferences change over time. Everyone's does. That's not a bad thing. It really isn't. Nobody should feel guilty for their preferences changing. It's just like when you grow up and all of a sudden you like broccoli now, you know, preferences change, and that's okay. But Maddie Tingles, I have a lot of fond memories of his videos. And then, of course, one of the OGs, GBASMR. I mean, come on. That's like the most basic answer possible, but it's true, it's honest. I enjoy me some GB ASMR. I'm not ashamed. But yeah, I think really that's kind of my like top list of my favorite creators. I don't actually watch a ton of ASMR anymore. Truthfully, I don't. I tend to gravitate more towards normal, like YouTube videos before bed. But that's also just because of like my ADHD brain. I crave the stimulation, and honestly, my sleep would probably be a lot better if I like forced myself to watch an ASMR video before bed. That's actually not a bad idea. I might start doing that. That'd actually probably help a lot, rather than just cramming stimulation into the last second before I pass out. Alright, let's find another question. But while I do, while I scroll through and find what looks good, I have some thoughts. It's really just some like reflections as I record this. I want some feedback because I realize that as I'm recording this, my ADHD is shooting off like crazy. I am fidgeting all over. And I know I keep like looking everywhere but the camera. And so if you're a person that likes eye contact when watching ASMR, my apologies. But yeah, I want some feedback. Let's see, I think we're about maybe 20 minutes into the video now. And if you're still here, let me know if, like, you think I should slow down. I feel like I've been talking kind of quickly. And I'm not sure if I like that. I don't know. Let me know. I mean, I will say it is a genuine ramble. You can tell that for sure. That's for sure. You can definitely tell that it's a genuine ramble by definition. But just let me know if you want me to slow it down for future ramble videos. And if so, I'll make a conscious effort to slow my pace down. Kind of like I'm doing right now. But yeah, I just figured, while I had it on my mind, I'd ask for that bit of feedback. Alright, back to the Q&A portion. Let's see. These are broken into like categories. So the ones I've been asking is questions for new YouTubers. Let's do one more of these. What type of content can viewers expect to see on your channel? This is a good one. This is a good one. I kind of wanted to talk about this anyway. So, like I've said, I want this channel to be a place where you can come and just kind of get that old school style of like genuine ASMR. Nothing like super fancy. Nothing groundbreaking, honestly. Just genuine ASMR. Where it's just me, you, and maybe some triggers. A lot like Bill Max Foxpacks, or Patrick's ASMR. For two examples of the style that I'm going for. Very just chill, casual. I think casual is really the best word to describe the vibe that I want on this channel. Casual. Nothing too serious. Nothing too elaborate. Easy to watch. And admittedly easy to make. That's my preference for this channel. I do want to do more book reading. I did like that. I've always wanted to like do voiceover acting, and that kind of scratches that itch a little bit of like doing narration. So yeah, book reading. I want to keep doing that. If anybody has any recommendations or suggestions for good books to read that are available in the public domain, that's the big part. That's the difficult part. Or even if anybody has like some Reddit stories that they want me to read with permission from the author, I'd be open to that. I do want to do more gaming. Actually, that's an ASMR creator that I forgot to mention in my top list. Jubilee Whispers. If I'm not getting her name messed up, she's a gaming ASMR artist that posts surprisingly frequently, like full time. And I love her gaming videos. And I want to do more gaming videos as well. I definitely have an interest in that. So if you have any suggestions or requests for what games you would like to see, throw them my way also. But also more just ramble videos. I'm actually really enjoying this. Based upon the feedback I get, I will refine it. But I'm enjoying how this is going so far. And I think I would enjoy making more of this. And then I would like to do trigger videos, like tapping videos and stuff like that. Not only trigger videos. It would still be talking. It would be like a trigger ramble combination. Because I will get very bored I just sit here in silence and do triggers. I'm just being honest. And me being bored while creating a video does not lend to it being a good video at all. But I would like to integrate triggers into my videos. The main problem right now is that I don't really have a good mic for it. I miss my Blue Yeti. I really do. It's like the quintessential ASMR microphone for a reason. I love the microphone I have. This is the... I'm actually blanking on the name. I'll have links for it down in the description. I'm completely blanking. Like, I'll have the full list of my recording specs. But I'm blanking on the name right now, but I really do love this microphone. I think it has a great sound. I think it complements my voice. But it is intended as like a studio, like music recording, like vocal recording microphone. So its only Polaroid pattern is straight out the end of it. So it it does a really good job at eliminating any of the like noise around here. Like, you can't hear me do finger flutters at all behind it. But if I move it in front, you can. So that makes it difficult to do any triggers with this microphone. Because you don't get that good like 3D stereo effect. It's very single directional. So I think if I want to integrate more triggers, I will have to get a Blue Yeti again, which I'm not against. It might just take some time to be able to find the money, but I would like to do that. Alright. Moving on. Let's see what other categories there are. Alright, so it looks like these are some get to know me questions. Some more like general but personal questions. So what is your favorite hobby or pastime? So recently, my favorite hobby has definitely been darts. I'm talking like at a bar, darts, bull shooter. I have played in a weekly tournament, just a like casual $10 buy-in tournament the last 4 or 5 weeks now, and I've had a blast. I've actually been improving, and I actually got second last week, which was really freaking fun. So darts is definitely like my favorite hobby right now. And it's the first real hobby I've had in a long time, to be honest. As sad as that sounds, it's true. Other than darts, it's watching YouTube or watching like TV shows. Not a very interesting life, to be honest. But I feel like a lot of people can relate. Let's be real. But yeah, darts. I love darts. Alright. What's your favorite book or movie, and why? Okay, this is going to be an easy one to answer. So my favorite book, it's a book series, and I actually have both my favorite book series and my second favorite book series with me. So right over here, you can't see it very well, but right there is the inheritance cycle. That is by far my favorite book series ever, The Inheritance Cycle. Aragon, it's the story of Aragon, Saphira. I love those books. I've reread them at least 5 times each, and I love them. And then my second would be, actually they're underneath the microphone. I'm boosting it up. But the Ranger's Apprentice series. I'm on a reread of that right now, and I think I just finished book 5 tonight. Or no, I just finished book 4 tonight. Sorry, some acid reflux is coming in. I might end up cutting that out after all. We'll see what happens in the editing bay. Yeah, no, those 2 book series, top notch, in my opinion. They are definitely like young adult novels. They're not difficult reading at all. And honestly, I haven't done a ton of reading besides them since school. Those were the 2 book series that I read like in high school, and they've just stuck with me, and I haven't really read any other series besides those. I could probably do to read more. Truthfully, I could. I really could. But those are my comforts. Now, movie is a bit more difficult. Actually, a lot more difficult. I really don't, off the top of my head, have a favorite movie. I've always been more of a show person rather than a movie person. Favorite TV shows? I can give you a list. Number 1 is The West Wing on HBO. I've rewatched that more times than I can count. I do about a rewatch a year, sometimes 2. Second would be MASH. Not the movie MASH, the TV show. Anybody that knows the cultural significance of that TV show understands why it's my second. Third would be probably Miss. What is that? What's that called? I'm blanking. I'm actually blanking. It's on Netflix. I'm gonna have to look this up. Hold on. I'm actually blanking. I don't want to get it wrong. Hold on. I know I'll be able to find it. I cannot believe I am blanking. I've rewatched it so many times. Oh my gosh. that's insane. I can't believe I just completely blanked on the name. Alright, well, it's a political drama. I do really enjoy political dramas. And I mean, like, I don't know, I like some good escapism from the real world. Yeah, I like some escapism into that idealistic world where politics is a good thing that betters lives and not the exact opposite, like the real world. Ooh, I actually almost forgot one. This is actually probably my number 2, not the one that I blanked on. My number 2 would be The Last Kingdom. I adored that show. Yeah, The Last Kingdom. Honestly, it's in competition for The West Wing. I think The West Wing is just a little bit more rewatchable, which is why it retains the number 1 spot for me, but taking that out just on like first watch basis, probably The Last Kingdom, yeah, honestly. But alright, let's move on to another question. I don't know how long this video is going to be. OBS is telling me we're at 53 minutes right now. So editing down, we're a little bit less than that, but I don't know. I didn't really have like a time length in mind when I started this, so I think I'm just going to keep going until it feels right to end it. Alright, let's see. Okay, this is kind of a funny one. What is something about you that might surprise people? My age. Definitely my age. Every time I meet somebody new and they learn how old I am, it is a shocker. Place your guesses in the comment below how old you think I am. And then I'll reveal it in the comments. I feel like that'll be fun. Yeah, place your guess. A lot of people get it wrong. I'm curious how well you do. Alright. If you could have dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would it be and why? Okay. That takes some thinking. That really does. That takes some thinking. Probably Alan Alda. My favorite actor. Alan Alda from MASH. I think he just has so much, like, wisdom. And I would just love to have a conversation with the man. Yeah, Alan Alda. Okay, these categories are getting a little bit more specific. Let's see. It's like questions for vloggers, questions for child YouTubers, questions for teen YouTubers. Interesting. of these questions. They're getting just kind of weird now. I'm now on juicy Q&A questions. Yeah, no, we're done with that. Somehow out of 200 questions, that's all we get that were good. But whatever, it is what it is. I'll of course have better ones in the future when I do an actual Q&A video, but you know what? It fulfilled its purpose. It kept me talking. With that being said, though, I think here is a pretty good place to wrap it up. Like I said, I hope this has actually been relaxing. I don't know. It's hard to tell until like I stop recording and watch it back. Because when I do get rambling like that, I kind of just lose myself in the ramble. So I don't know if I am talking in like a relaxing way during that. Hopefully I am. We'll see. Let me know what you thought down below. Let me know your recommendations, your suggestions, all of that. Don't forget to let me know what you think my age is. And the first person to get it right, I will pin. But other than that, just thanks for stopping by. Thank you for taking an interest in a random thumbnail you saw on your screen. Hopefully you were not disappointed. But yeah, thanks. If you did enjoy, don't forget to subscribe. I promise the next video will not be 3 months from now. Have a good night. I'll see you in the next one.